Yeah, aptitude is very, very important. That there is nothing called as, you know, you understand a concept and then raise a doubt, or you finish a session and then raise a doubt. So in an aptitude preparation class, we usually expect everything hand in hand. So as and when you get a doubt for any kind of a word or any kind of an explanation or any kind of a solution that we do, raise your query then and there. Okay, don't wait for anything else. Don't wait for anything else. I mean, even if you feel that I'm talking, it's okay, you can cut me, right? You can just cut me and say, excuse me sir, I want to have a clarification here. So do not have to wait for the end of the session. Do not have to wait for, yeah, you can just wait for my end of the statement, but apart from that, you don't have to wait for anything else, right? So whenever you have doubts, please raise. You're free to raise as many doubts as you want. You're free to do only doubt solving in a session if you want to, right? So this session is taught by me, but it should be driven by you. I hope you guys understand what do I mean by that, right? This is not going to be a school. This is not going to be a college. This is not a place where I'm going to come and create or finish a syllabus, because that's not the motive here. The motive is not completing syllabus. The motive is that you should be able to, by the end of the class, be able to go and solve any question related to the class, right? And be confident about it. So that's the idea of this entire session and entire class. So how many of you love maths, or you know, when you say love maths, you for your first preference is maths when given subjects for you to do? That's right, Takshil. That's you. Anyone, you can raise your hand. So Takshil is there, Ananya is there. Anyone else? The others are in blind spot, so I can't see. Okay, great. So Takshil, what background do you come from?
As in, I didn't get what to say.
I mean, what are you doing currently?
I'm in 12th, sir, in
So
science.
12th science, right? So you come from the science
Yes.
background. Right. Ananya, how about you?
Sir, PCMC.
You are also from the science background that you're coming from. Right. Rishabh, how about you? Are you also in 12th?
Yes, I'm in 12 commerce.
Commerce. Okay, great. So people who would have taken commerce or humanities, you would have taken that because of certain facts that sometimes we take non-science subjects because we don't like science, right? So let me try making you this entire session or the forthcoming sessions after this to be something that you will look forward for. At least you will not start bunking the classes. Okay, let me at least keep it as simple and as straightforward. Yeah, certain things, thanks Sheila for reminding, certain things that you guys have to ensure that you please have your books and pens in your next to you. Do not have calculators because that's banned even in an examination. So you using calculator while practicing is not going to add any value to what you do. Okay. uh, right. So what do you know about aptitude? I'm sure that so you want me to introduce aptitude to you, or should I start the class? How do you want this to be? Anyone? You want me to
So
start
can you
this?
introduce aptitude?
Introduce the aptitude. Okay, fine, fair enough. So what I'm trying to do is, I'll take it easy. This is your first class for aptitude, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Right,
yes.
great.
Yes, sir.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you then today's class, rather than me starting, Gaurav, are you there? Assuming he's there. Okay, so today what I'm going to do is, rather than starting numbers as a topic, right, I'll introduce you to aptitude, the kind of topics that probably we'll cover over the period of time, right? The kind of structures in which the entire teaching methodology will go, what I as an individual can contribute, and what you as an individual should do to ensure that we both are in sync with each other. Okay, I hope you understand that, because it's very important that it's not that I alone drive and you are somewhere else. Then I will not be able to drive everyone together. Okay, so we got to go together. Our steps has to be synced with each other. So that's what it's going to be, right? Now let's understand an aptitude and the reason why an aptitude is seen. I hope all of you are able to see the screen. There is no hassle in seeing this whiteboard on your screen. Now an aptitude is typically, right? If I look at an aptitude as a concept, why is an aptitude given? First of all, let's understand that. Okay. Now, when it comes to any kind of a competitive exam, there's one important aspect that everyone tries to extract from a from a candidate or from an aspirant is his or her problem solving skill. Okay, so a basic information that I or a basic quality that I can extract from people who are going to write an exam is the first main important ingredient, that is your problem solving skill. Because once you start working, irrespective of the age that you belong to, once you start working, you come across a lot of problems at work. I'm not saying external problems. External problems will come even now, right? Even today, you step out and you have a COVID problem. So we are not talking about external problems. We are talking about problems that we will counter every day in and day out during our professional life. Now, these problems, people want skill labors. What do you mean by skill labors? Today, if you see, many people in India are not employed. Why they are not employed? Not because there is not much of a job. It's because they are not appropriate for the kind of a job. They are not skilled enough to be employed in that sector, right? So that's what we call as a skill labor. So why does people lack that skillness? One skillness that people lack is their ability to solve problems. Okay, so problem solving skill is basically very important. Now, what do I measure while I look at a problem solving skill? I measure two things. One is the quickness or a swiftness in understanding the problem. How fast can I understand the problem? That's one thing that I have to measure. Because if, let's assume that you get a problem today, you can't come back thinking that, oh, I understood the problem after 2 days, right? You're wasting that much time. So it's very important for me to know how quick you can understand a problem. And once I know that how quick you can understand a problem, then I look at how quick you can take a decision of how to solve a problem. Because today, if you are facing any kind of a problem, you have multiple ways of solving it. Look at real-time problems, look at your life problem, look at the problems that you come across on a daily basis. You have multiple ways of solving it, correct? Now, not all the ways are good. One way probably will proceed to the best kind of a solution. So that's the reason why an aptitude test is given, to figure out how well you have a problem solving skill, the quickness and understanding, and the quick decisions. That's why you would realize that in competitive examinations, usually the questions and the time allotted are almost similar. If you have 20 questions, you'll have around 20-30 minutes to solve them, right? Nobody gives you 20 questions and 1 hour to solve, 2 hours to solve. So the questions and the time limit is very, very similar. Why? Because of to see your swiftness and the quickness in picking the right ones. So what are we going to do? How are we going to solve this entire methodology and overcome this something called what we call as an aptitude, or especially let's assume something called as maths, right? People who fear or who dislike maths, how are we going to overcome it? And people who love maths, how we are going to ensure that you retain that affection towards it. Okay, कल को ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि you started loving maths but now you start hating it. So you cannot change the course of your preparation. So what we will do, or what at least I will do in my class, number one, I'll emphasize the most on the concepts. Any topic given, I'll try to figure out, or I'll try to ensure that you understand concepts very, very well. You understand why is it important, whatever we learn, okay? And what is the importance and significance of this? Why is concepts very important? You guys would have heard that there are shortcut methods, correct? You heard of this concept called as shortcut methods? Right. What do you mean by shortcut methods? Anyone?
It's a more quicker way to solve the problem.
Right. So shortcut methods are methods where I avoid, I avoid writing down formulas. I avoid writing down equations. I avoid writing down my board exam, those lengthy solution steps, and quickly identify the answer towards that particular question. So that's shortcut method. But a shortcut method doesn't have a life in case I don't realize the basic concepts. Okay, so it's important that we understand concepts, and I'll be emphasizing more on the concept. So once concept is done, then you will have fun, real fun, in identifying the shortcut methods. Okay, so first I will teach you concepts, then we will look at the approach of shortcut methods, then we will practice. How we will practice? By solving questions. I'll give you questions which you can solve in the class. I'll give you questions which you should solve at home. But while we are solving, the biggest thing that we have to figure out is how quickly can I solve? And every time I solve, how many times do I get them right? I may solve 10 different questions, 20 different questions in 10 seconds. But if I get all the 20 wrong, there is no fun in solving them in 10 seconds. I would rather solve them in 1 minute. Okay, so accuracy is what matters a lot. So practicing solving questions is the next step that we will be introducing. And further doubts, whatever you have, you are free to connect with any of the faculty, okay, who is teaching maths to you. You need not, I'll repeat this, you need not go to the same faculty who taught you that topic. You can reach to any faculty who teaches maths. Don't go to an English faculty and ask maths doubt. Your doubt will remain doubt. In fact, you're going to raise their doubt also. Okay. So don't ask, you ask doubts only to that particular faculty. You come to a maths faculty and ask them an English doubt, तुम्हारा अंग्रेजी बर्बाद हो जाएगा. लिख के रख लेना. ठीक है? So you're not going to ask cross-functioning doubts. So ask doubts only on, if you are going to ask me a creativity doubt, trust me, the only thing that's going to happen is you're going to forget your creativity forever. Okay, so you're not going to come back to me for that. So you have to touch base to me only for maths and logic, or you can touch base to any faculty for maths and logic, especially those who train you. But do not have to wait for the faculty. Just bombard with the doubts. I hope you're clear, guys, all of you. Right? Now, I'll tell you what basically we mean by concepts and what we mean by shortcut methods. Okay? So I'm going to take an example here. A question for all of you is this. This is an example to make you understand. Since there are people from commerce and there are people from science, the question that I'm going to give you is this. A shopkeeper sold an item at 25%, at 14.28% profit after giving discount of 33.33%. At what profit will the shopkeeper get if he does not provide any discount on the item? Do you all understand this question? Commerce, science, humanities, all of you are able to understand this question, right? Great. So now, I don't want you guys to solve. There's no way I want you to solve. Now, what does this mean, right? So let's understand what concepts are. concepts are basically, when you look at a question which talks about profit and loss or discount, we have to first figure out or identify 3 units. Concepts is learning these 3 units. First entity that I have to learn is what we call as a CP, which is nothing but a cost price, right? Commerce student, can you tell me what a cost price is? Rishabh, you're a commerce student, so I connect you. Can anyone tell me what is a cost price? Rishabh, can you?
Sir, it is the price with which we bought the item.
Right. So is it the same as the price at which I manufacture an item?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Sinjini, I will come to you later. Don't worry. The others. So Sheila, can you?
No, I don't think it's the manufacturing price.
Okay. Takshil, what you mean? What do you mean by cost price, according to you?
The price at the price that is taken that is okay, I'm not.
Okay. Anushka, any idea? Anushka, up, unmute. You're muted. Can you tell me? Do you have any clue on what cost price is?
The price at which the goods are brought by the retailer.
Retailer, okay. Kavya, the question to you will be, do you think cost price can change for one single item from person to person?
Yes.
Absolutely, Kavya, yes. Kushi, yes, it can be. Assume that you buy a pen from the nearby store of your house for 10 bucks. I can buy the same pen from a retail supermarket for 8 bucks. Takshil might be able to buy the same pen from Amazon at 7 bucks. Okay. Astha may be able to buy the same pen by going to probably a distributor or I'm sure all of you have heard of this metro place, right? Where goods and things are sold. So you can go to this metro and buy. Astha could have bought this for 6 rupees. Hina could go to a manufacturer itself directly to Reliance and say, hey, look, I want to buy one pen. Can you sell me? And then buy the pen for 4 rupees. So it's one pen, but cost price has varied. So what's a cost price? As Sinjini said, cost price is the price at which you purchase an article. It is always any price that you learn or you incur is only with respect to you. It is not with respect to anyone else. Okay. Cost price is the cost it incurs when I buy. Selling price is the price it incurs when I sell. Don't have to write down this, guys. Don't worry, because we are not coming to percentage profit loss topic. We will come here again. So I'm just trying to make you understand what concepts teaching means. Okay. So cost price is a price at which I purchase an article. Selling price is a price at which I sell an article. So one single article, let's say a phone, which all of us have, all of us would have bought the same model but at different price point. All of us might want to sell this model, and when we sell, we may sell it at different price point. Okay. So selling price also is completely dependent on the price at which I sell an article. So remember, it is always to do with me as an individual. It is not to do with anyone else. Cost is what goes out of my pocket. Selling price is what comes into my pocket. Okay. If what is going also, so cost price is what is going out. Selling price is what is coming in. So if my cost price is more than my selling price, if I bought for 10 rupees but I able to sell only for 8 rupees, then I undergo what I call as a loss, right? And if I can earn, that is my money that is coming to me is more than the money that is going out of me, then I am actually making a profit. So where does this term called discount come into picture? Or when does this term called discount come into picture? What is discount? Maitra.
Something that reduces the price of the product.
Right. So discount is something that reduces the price of the product. So discount reduces what price? Does it reduce the selling price? Does it what is the price on which you give a discount? Anybody? What is the price on which? Sorry?
Selling price.
That is another name for it. Selling price is not the price at which you give discount. Selling price is the price. Yeah, selling price is the price you pay to buy. So remember, when you go to stores and when you see this 10% discount, do you pay and then get the 10% back, or do you pay after getting the 10% back? You pay after getting 10% discount, right? So the value has reduced. If it's 100 rupees, then you pay 90 rupees. So that payment that you have made is your cost price. Clear? That 90 rupees that guy has earned is his selling price. But now tell me, if selling price is 90 rupees, then what is 100 rupees called as? The MRP. Someone said MRP. It's called as the MRP. What's the full form of MRP?
Maximum retail price.
Maximum retail price. Do we have alternate names for MRP? So in a book or in a question in an exam, MRP can also be replaced by two different names. One of them is called as LP, which is the list price. And one is called as an MP, which is called as the marked price. These are the three names that a MRP can be used, synonyms. Okay, alternatively. So don't get confused when you look at these names. They all mean the same. I hope you guys are able to understand this, right? So now let's assume that I go back to the question and let's see what I can do. Now, a shopkeeper sold an item at 14.28%. Most of us will drop this question because of this percentage itself. The value here, 14.28, is not a great comfort number for me to work, nor the value 33.33%. But if I know the fact that, which I will be anyway telling you during percentages, but if I know that 14.28% means 1/7 of a value, okay, and 33.33% means 1/3 of a value, then it becomes much easier. Now it becomes much faster than had I been working only with 33.33 and 14.2%. See, what does 14.28% mean? It means 14.28 divided by 100. I hope all of you know this. I hope you guys know that to remove a percentage, you have to divide by 100. Okay. Now, when I do 14.28 divided by 100, it is a fraction. So how can I bring it into a P by Q form? So rather than doing that manually, remember that 14.28% is always 1/7 in terms of P by Q form. Okay. So if someone comes and tells, okay, look guys, give me 14.28% of the money that you hold. So if you have 70 rupees in your pocket, how much amount will you give me?
10.
Right. So if you have 70 rupees in your pocket, and if I come and say, look, give me 14.28% of the money you hold, you will not sit and do 14.28% of 70 rupees. Rather, you will know that 14.28 is nothing but 1/7 of the value. So you will do 1 by 7th of 70 rupees. Now what's 1 by 7th of 70 rupees? 10 bucks, right? So you will immediately give me 10 bucks. Do you understand this? Do you understand the difference between doing a 14.28% of 70 and doing a 1 by 7 of 70? Do you understand the difference in the ease and the speed? Right? So that's why I said, because calculators are not allowed, it's important for us to understand where we lead every calculation and every learning to. So it becomes easy. So if someone comes now and tells, okay, look, you have 140 bucks with you, give me 14.28%. How much will you give me then?
20.
140 divided by 7. So you will give 20 rupees to me. Okay, so that's how the ease is going to be. We clear with this? So the same case goes with 33.33%. So if someone comes and says, give me 33.33%, what part of value will you give? You will give 1/3 the value. Okay, great. Now, so these informations, right? These informations that we learn becomes much critical for us while we solve questions. So if you actually ask me, how can I solve this question, right? Even though I have not taught you percentages profit loss, but I'll just tell you how easily I can solve this question, or how easy it is to solve this question. Now I know for the fact that there are three things. One is there is a cost price, then there is a selling price, and then there is a mark price. Ask yourself, on what do you give discount? On what do you give discount? You give discount on the marked price, right?
Price.
Good.
Oh, my price. Sorry.
Sorry? Aditi, you said something? Okay. So you give discount on the mark price. Now, how much discount are you giving? 33.33%. 33.33% is what fraction? It is 1 by 3. So which means if your mark price is 3 rupees, how much discount are you giving? You are giving 1 by 3 of 3 rupees. That is how much? 1 rupee discount you are giving. So if 1 rupee discount you are giving, how much are you selling it for? 2 rupees. I hope all of you have understood this. Great.
Yes,
On what do you get profit, guys? Do you get profit on mark price, or do you get profit on cost price?
Cost price.
Let's assume this way. Assume that you bought something for 10 rupees. You sold it for 12 rupees. How much profit you got? 2 rupees, right? How did you know that you got 2 rupees profit? Because you compared how much more you got out of how much money you spent. That is, you compared how much more you got out of 10 rupees. So a profit or a loss is always calculated on your cost price. Okay. Now, how much profit am I getting? 14.28%. 14.28% is what fraction? 1 by 7. Means what? If your cost price is 7 rupees, the bottom side of the screen, right? If your cost price is 7 rupees, you are getting 1 by 7 of 7 rupees as profit. That is 8 rupees profit. 1 rupee profit. So what should be your selling price? 8 rupees should be your selling price. Do you all understand this? Now, do you realize that whether you are talking about the first portion of calculation or you're talking about the second portion of calculation, in both the portion you're talking about the same item? There is no change in the item. So if there is no change in the item, can the same item have two different selling price? My question to all. If there is no change in the item, can your item have two different selling price? Ananya? No, right? Okay. So in that case, if the selling price in the second category is 8 and if the selling price in first category is 2, let me make the selling price common. So I will take the selling price to be 8 itself. Okay. If the selling price is 8, what is your cost price? 7, because that's what you get from the second category. But in your first category, your selling price was 2 rupees. Now you have taken selling price to be 8 rupees. How many times? Remember, not how much do you add. How many times? 4 times. So 4 times 2 rupees becomes 8. So how much will be your mark price in that case? 4 times, which is 12 rupees. So basically what you're doing is, you are making the first category selling price also 8. Earlier you took, this was 2, now you made it 8. If this has to be 8, then this has to be 12. Why? Because 2 4s are 8, that's why 3 4s are 12. So it becomes now easy for me to find out that if I had not given you a discount, then I would have sold at 12 rupees, I would have got a profit of 5 rupees, and I can now find the profit percentage. Did I anywhere teach you formula here? No. That's where the concept holds true. Concept learning is a place where your dependability on formulae is 0. Okay? The day when we depend on formulae, like the trigonometry and the geometries that we learned during our school, the day when we depend on formulas, it becomes much difficult for us to incorporate that in our practice. Okay? Right. So now we begin with introduction to numbers. I have 15 minutes left. I do not like extending class beyond a certain point of time unless and until you guys tell me that please proceed extending it. Okay? Till then, I will never extend a class. Remember this, guys. I might be a teacher today, but there was a time when I was also a student. So I know the pain that you guys can go through. Okay? So don't worry. I have that kind of a heart. So we begin with numbers as a topic. This is just an introduction. Numbers. Now my first point is, or first question is, do you all know, how do you say or how do you introduce when someone tell you what is the classification of things? What do you say? How do you classify things? Miss Shetty.
Yes, sir.
How do you classify things? If someone asks you, what do you answer? Things, Things. How do you classify things? Nodia? Okay. Suvarna, would you like to?
Sir, I'm not sure.
Sorry?
Sir, I'm not sure.
You're not sure. Okay. Anushka, anything that you want to say?
I don't know, sir.
Okay. Maitra?
I don't really know the.
Sheila? How do you classify things? I'm not asking you to classify
Based
numbers. I'm
on
asking.
similarities, maybe like living, non-living.
Thank you, Sheila. It's not maybe, it's actually. Right? Before getting into anything, the first thing you will say is living thing and non-living thing. That's how you learned things, right? In your school, remember? Matter and things were learned from there. First, you learned things as living things and non-living things. That's a basic classification. So the same way, if I want you guys to tell me the basic classification of numbers, there are only 2 classifications of numbers, okay? Numbers can be classified only in 2 ways. Now, which are the 2 ways? Anyone guess? Wrong guess is also fine.
Even and odd?
That's much further down the lane.
Positive and negative.
Positive and negative is also
and natural numbers.
okay. Positive, negative is also much ahead. Whole numbers, natural numbers are not that very ahead, but they are not at this zone. This zone is something else.
Real numbers and imaginary numbers.
Thank you, Hina. Absolutely. So when numbers come into picture, the first thing that comes is a number line. I hope you all know number line, right? Number line is the line that goes from minus sign all the way till plus sign, which is in your graph, right? Typically in the graphs. numbers are first classified as real numbers and imaginary numbers. Now, what are imaginary numbers? To give an idea, okay, this is something that is never ever covered in competitive exams, because more depth knowledge of imaginary numbers goes when we do our 11th and 12th. Okay, and because these competitive exams are open for all students from all streams, they only retain the syllabus that has been taught till 10. That's why imaginary numbers is never a part of competitive exam. But in case I want to know what an imaginary number is, what's an imaginary number? Takshil, you're a science student, you should be able to say this.
The negative numbers under a root are imaginary numbers, like the ones we cannot uh, convert it into a real number.
All right, the numbers which cannot be probably in a very simple way plotted in a number line. So what Takshil said is square root of a negative number is an imaginary number. So Takshil, how do you denote root of -1?
With an iota.
Thank you. With the value I, which is nothing but called as iota. Okay. So that's not important, but this is information. If you keep, it's okay. Imagine numbers can know as numbers which cannot be defined or represented in a number line. Okay. So real numbers becomes opposite. Real numbers are numbers which can always be represented in a number line. I hope all of you understood this. Real numbers, imaginary numbers, they are clear now? Right. Now goes to further classification. So now we know real numbers. So how do I classify real numbers as? So real numbers are now further classified as two ways. One, numbers which are rational. So if one value is rational, Asta, what is the other side of it? You forgot to unmute. Correct. So one side is rational, the other side will be irrational numbers. So real numbers are further classified as rational and irrational numbers. Okay. A simple understanding of rational numbers are that we usually tell that rational numbers are numbers which can be represented in the form of P by Q with a condition. What's the condition? Anyone?
Where P is not equal to 0.
Where Q is not equal to 0. Okay, P can be 0.
Yes.
Q is not equal to 0 and P and Q are positive. Please note this. Okay, so they are rational numbers. What are irrational numbers? Irrational numbers are numbers which cannot be represented in the form of P by Q. Irrational numbers are numbers which cannot be represented in the format of P by Q. Rational numbers are those numbers which can be represented in the form of P by Q. I hope all of you good, understood this much? Right. Great. Now again, irrational numbers is not something that is so very commonly asked. Again, it's not that common, but yes, rational numbers are very, very commonly asked. Okay. So let's understand rational numbers bit for today before we go into in-depth in the next session. Now, so we understand that rational numbers are numbers which can be written in the form of P by Q. So I want you guys to give me some examples. So can I have someone who has not spoken at all? Give me examples of rational numbers.
So 5 by 3.
What's Varna?
5 by 3.
5 by 3. Okay, this is a rational number. So when I take 5 by 3 value, it is 1 point, right? 6, 6, 6, and so on. Okay, Khushi, an example.
So 1.
1. So 1 is a rational number because it can be written as 1 by 1. Okay, great. Naomi, any example of rational number which is not similar to the one given by both of them? Naomi, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Right. Any example that comes in your mind? Okay, can I help you? How about 1 by 2? Right?
Yes,
1
sir.
by 1 by 2 is a p by q form, so it is a rational number. So what is the value of 1 by 2? 0.5. What was this value? 1. Okay, so you can have all these kinds of numbers, right? So you can have 1 by 3, which is nothing but 0.3333, and so on and so forth. Then you can have 1 by 4, which is 0.25. You can have any value of p and any value of q as long as q is not equal to 0. Done? So which means I can also have another definition for rational numbers, and this is something that I want you guys to write down before we close, not before this and the other one. So another definition of rational numbers are that rational numbers are numbers which, when expressed in decimal form, is either recurring or terminating. Okay, rational numbers are numbers which, when expressed in decimal form, is either recurring or terminating. Irrational numbers are numbers which, when expressed in decimal form, is neither recurring nor terminating. So remember, one is either, one is neither. Are we clear? Have you guys written this down? Now what does, so taking the first one into picture, I'm assuming all of you have written this down. If you're writing, then please take a minute and write it down first. Okay, done? Ananya, done?
Yes.
Right. Sheila, Hina, Sinjini, Kavya, all done?
Yes, sir.
Great.
Yes, sir.
So now what do we look into? What do you mean by this part, rational numbers, right? So when we look into rational numbers as a structure, it says that numbers, when expressed in decimal form, is either recurring or terminating. Means, well, we took 1 by 3 as a rational number. So when I wrote this in a decimal form, what did I get? I got 0.3333 and so on. 0.33, right? So basically what happened is, after the decimal point, the digits are repeating itself. They are not stopping anywhere, right? It's continuously, infinitely repeating. So they are basically recurring. Or if I take 1 by 4, what happens to 1 by 4? It becomes 0.25, and after 5, there is no digit coming into picture, right? It just stops, it terminates. So either it is recurring, this is recurring, or it is terminating. So it's possible. So for example, I can get a 235, 235, 235. So can you tell me what will be the next 3 digits? 235, correct? So it's क्या हो रहा है ये? What is happening? This is recurring, right? This is repeating itself. What is repeating? 2 is not repeating, 3 is not repeating, 5 is not repeating, but all the 3 together is repeating. Please note that. 2, 3, 5, all 3 of them as a unit, right? एक साथ repeat हो रहे हैं. ठीक है? So that's one. So this is pure recurring number. Done? But if I give you something like 2, 3, 5, 2, 3, 6, 2, 4, 5, 2, 5, 7, अब अगला क्या आएगा? What will be next? Do you have any clue? Nobody knows. Why? Because there is no particular pattern, right? There is no pattern in which it is repeating. So this is neither recurring because it's not repeating, और ये खत्म भी नहीं हो रहा. This is neither stopping. So what kind of a number is this? An irrational number. Did you understand the difference, guys? So in a rational number, you will always be able to identify what will be the next digit. You yourself will be able to identify. Okay, so for example, if I ask one of you guys, let's say Mridul, I am writing a number down. Tell me what would be the next digit of this. Okay, 0.1414. What would
1
be
and 4 keeps repeating in that order. 1, 4,
right?
1, 4.
So you can recognize the number that's going to come next. But so what will come next?
2857.
Got it, guys? You are able to recognize the pattern in which the digit is repeating. When you can recognize them, it becomes a recurring or a terminating or a rational number. But if you cannot recognize, like the one that we wrote now, right, where I'm underlining with the blue ink, that becomes an irrational number. Did you understand the difference between these two? Did you understand how you identify them in
Yes,
case
sir.
they have been given to you? Right? So that's where we will stop today. Clear, guys? Now, forgetting the first fact, forgetting the first side of it, which is your percentage of profit loss, which I just gave a clue on it. On the numbers side, I hope all of you are clear how the numbers get classified, the real and the imaginary. Imaginary, do not have to worry because it is not a part of your syllabus. In the real part, how does the classification further go down? Rational and irrational. I hope all of you know what rational now is. P by Q. Irrational cannot be given as P by Q. ठीक है? Good and bad का difference क्या होता है? एक good है, एक जो good नहीं है. So it's the same way. Rational, irrational. Right? Rational, whichever you can recognize is rational. What you cannot recognize becomes irrational. Keep that in mind. Done? Now rational further gets classified. But before we get into classification of rational number, we have to now find out how to solve certain questions on rational numbers. Okay, because there are a lot of questions that can come under rational numbers. So that we will connect in the next class and do that. Any doubts, any queries that you guys have till now? No? What you have to do, and something that I want you guys to keep doing this is, when we do significant coverage in a class, today's class is not supposed to be not considered as a significant coverage, but whenever we do a significant coverage, so let's say that I complete rational numbers and irrational numbers questions in the next class, then what I want you guys to do is immediately take out your books, take out your exercise, take out your online modes, whatever you have, try solving these questions on rational numbers. Clear? So that you get a hands-on experience on it. Okay? Because once done and dusted, I do not have to run behind. I do not have to chase. Otherwise, I'll always have to sleep in fear. What I'm also trying to do, I hope you guys have this app called Ignite India app, right? So what I'm also trying to do there is, I am trying to populate as many practice questions as possible in that app, especially for aptitude. And for every a set of 20 questions each, okay, for almost all the topics. Now, for every 20 questions, I will also upload a video of the solution where I'm going to solve every question in the video so that you take the test, right? And then you look at the solution through the video and try to figure out कि कैसे solve कर सकते हैं, because there are lots of questions which can be solved in a shortcut way. That it's better for me to teach through a video rather than writing it down. Okay? So keep following that and keep practicing almost on a daily basis whenever you get time. Finally, aptitude is not a place which you should fear. Aptitude is not a place which you should run away from. Trust me, it is something that will help you to score very good marks in your competitive exams. Okay, as long as you are chasing it. The day when you fear, aptitude will start chasing you. So you don't fear, let aptitude fear for you. Okay, right, guys, have a great evening. See you soon. Good night then. Thanks a lot.
Thank you,
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Thanks,
you so
guys.
much, sir. Thank you, students. Bye-bye. We'll see you.